Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Learn the Clone Secret in the Beginning. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune because later on I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto was given a second chance. So stay in tune for that, and I do hope that you guys enjoy. And also later on after that, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto got his memories sealed away on this channel, guys. So stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to be posting What If Naruto was raised by the Hyuga clan. So stay tuned for that as well. And thank you all as usual for your support. And yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's get straight into this new episode. Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto woke up as he was in his mindscape along with the Kyuubi. As the both of them talk after his battle with Gaara, after regrowing an arm and after those intense slashes and cuts all over his body, it took a while for him to heal up. So, when he woke up back in the real world, he was in the hospital as Sarutobi was beside him as nurse started to remove his bandages. Not even a single cut was left on him. As Sarutobi told him that this has been 2 days since he's been in the hospital, and he's going to face off against Neji in the finals. And there has been some people coming here to visit him, such as that Yujito girl from Kumo. Sarutobi didn't trust her one bit. Why was she coming to visit Naruto? Could this be because she knew that he was a Jinchuriki as well? He would have to keep an eye on that girl. And Tenten and the others came to visit them as well. And also, he asked Naruto about the Kyuubi and what happened back there, as Naruto told him that the Kyuubi was a girl, and she wasn't that bad, and that she wasn't responsible for what happened that night. She was being used. So after that, Naruto was left out of the hospital as he went to visit Kaido. As he went by a shop and Tenten wasn't there, he got some new clothes, seeing that his old clothes couldn't fit right now. After that, he went to the apartment that Yujito was in, as she invited him in. She just told him that she was worried about him and she wanted to make sure that he was okay. It was strange. Naruto never thought that she was actually flirting with him, but she was. As the both of them talked for a while, and they were going to go on to a date Sunday, as Naruto was rather surprised by that. As he left off and said goodbye, as he was going back to his apartment, Tenten was there waiting for him, as she was pissed off, as she told him never again to be so reckless, but Naruto told her that he has to sometime because she know how this ninja world is dangerous. She just told him to be careful, okay? She then started to blush like crazy as she asked him out on a date this Friday, as he was surprised by that, but he accepted. As the Friday came, it was strange because Naruto knew what would happen. Arriving at the restaurant, the woman came and asked Tenten for her order, but then she started to walk off, as Tenten was beyond pissed that she didn't even look at Naruto. As Tenten and Naruto left the store. After that, Tenten asked Naruto what was up, but Naruto told her that he couldn't tell her yet. Probably after the Chunin exams, for her to, well, her opinion would change of him, he knew that. He thought to himself though. But she told him that nothing will change, but she saw the look in his eyes, so she could wait. As he smiled at that, as he walked her home and she gave him a kiss on the cheek. After the next day, Naruto was training with the Kyuubi, as she was rather silent. It seems like she was a bit sad about what happened in the restaurant. Why was she taking guilt now? As she just shook it off the next day and acted like nothing happened after Naruto told her that, thanks. He was happy that she was at least caring for him. So the next day went by and Naruto went on his date with Yujito, as the both of them went on a picnic. And that was really nice, as she talked to him about the world and all that. Nothing really ninja related. At the end of the day, she kissed him right on his whiskers. Seeing the affect it had on him, she smiled. So yeah guys, that was basically where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? 299. 300. Naruto collapsed on the ground, panting heavily. With his demon regeneration, that was a big boost, so he kept on increasing his weights every single time that he trained, as he still had the seals on him, so he didn't even know what his true speed was. Naruto grunted as he lifted himself in a sitting position. As he leaned back on his hands, he took a quick breather. Time to get back to work, Naruto, said Kyubey. Naruto grunted in acknowledgement as he stood up on wobbly legs. Am I going to be working on the yokai whip? No, you already have a fairly good grasp on that. It's not perfect, but you can continue to work on it later. It's time to work on a new technique now that I want you to have. Foxfire. It is a powerful flame that I've created. At its strongest, it can even match the Amaterasu flame. And before you ask, yes, it is the ones I made around your hands when you fought Gaara. To start, I want you to build a fire since it's easier to manipulate than it is how to create. Naruto did as asked, so he made a fire pit and made a small fire with a small fire jutsu. So what now, he asks. Now I want you to send yokai to your chest and mouth as you inhale. Send all your yokai towards your mouth, and then into the fire. Naruto did as instructed. When he felt that he had a decent amount of yokai, he exhaled. Naruto watched as he was curious to see. The flames went from red, orange, to a ghostly, dark blue. I got it, Naruto said. No, you didn't, said Kyubey. You managed to increase the flame strength, however, that's all you did. First, you need to maintain the flame, and then you need to increase the power. Remember, I said that my flames can compete with the Amaterasu. When you manage to control the fox flame, it will be white. It will be the anti of the black flames. Now try, and this time, maintain the fire. Naruto blinked before his shoulders slumped down. Fine, he said. What's wrong with this attitude of yours, she asked. Should I take it as a sign that you don't want to learn this? And should I forget training you? No, Naruto said. I do. The Kyubey snickered a bit. Alright then, get to work, she said. As a week passed, and this was his main focus, he'd work on the Kitsune fire. Then he'd work on the yokai whip some more. And then he cooled down in the afternoon workout. His training became so intense that he had to keep a clone on hand to drag him back to his apartment when he lost consciousness. 6 days later, it had been 2 weeks since the training period, as Naruto finally decided to follow Sarutobi's advice and head to the hot spring. He was thankful because the girl that was working was around his age, so she did not know about his tenant and would not refuse him entrance. As Naruto entered the hot water, as he leaned against the rock, his entire body feeling so calm and nice. He had never been to a hot spring before. It seems like he was missing out on this his entire life. I'm gonna have to come here again, he says. He stretched his muscles out. Closing his eyes, he drifted off for a bit, only to be awakened several minutes later by giggling. As he looked over to see a long white-haired man with a large scroll to his back hiding in a bush. As he was looking through a crack in the woman's side of the hot spring, and he was scribbling into a notepad. Now, given that all of his time spent with Uncle, Naruto really didn't care about perverts. If a female can be that perverted, well, fear is fear, a man can be perverted too. But this giggling was getting on his nerve, and that scribbling on the notepad. Hey, Kyubey, want to see a prank, Naruto asked. A prank? The Kyubey said. While she was not much of a pranker herself, she loved to watch Naruto do them when he was younger. Sure, why not, she said. What do you have in mind? You'll see, said Naruto. As Naruto went into a few hand signs, before poof now in a puff of smoke. As Naruto was now there. As Naruto started to walk over towards the old man. Jiraiya felt something coming towards him, but he did not move. As he felt 2 arms wrapped around him. As Naruto grinned, how would you like to see them up close, rather than peeping? Blood started to leak down Jiraiya's nose. Come to Papa, he said. I knew one of you ladies wouldn't be able to keep your hands off me. As he spun around. But the moment he did, Naruto smashed a fist under his chin, as he was launched into the air and fell back down on the other side of the hot springs. As screaming could be heard, and a lot of pummeling. Ladies, please, I'm sorry, Jiraiya begged, as he was beaten severely. Another poof as Naruto returned back to his normal form, as Jiraiya was sent sailing back over the fence, as he hit the ground hard where he started to twitch. Not bad, Naruto. I think it was overall good, but you could have done the whole Kitsune so just act better. Maybe make him fly into the female side and nosebleed. I'll give that 8 out of 10. Well, given from what he was doing, I doubt seeing a naked chick would face him, said Naruto. Well, maybe you just need more work, said the Kyuubi. Naruto sighed. I just can't get a break, he said. What was that? Oh, nothing, Naruto said. It was then Naruto saw the white-haired man pulling up himself. What hit me, he said. I believe it's called righteous. Fist of female fury, Naruto said with a snicker. Though, seeing that you're still conscious, you're used to getting these kind of punishment. And seeing that you're so used to this, I have to say that you're some kind of masochist, and this is how you get off or something like that. Hey, show some respect, kid. Do you know who I am? Why do I care, Naruto asks. Get ready, kid. From the east to the west. Naruto watches a man start to hop from foot to foot in a weird dance while he made a weird introduction. So Naruto turned his head. When the man was finished, Naruto turned back his head. Sorry, did you say something? Meanwhile, Kakashi then turned his head from Sasuke's training. He didn't know why, but he felt extremely happy. Meanwhile, the white-haired man face faulted. Were you even listening to me? Oh, not really, Naruto said. You damn kid, you really need to learn how to respect your elders. Especially someone as great as me. You mean, pervert? Naruto asked. Oh, that's where you're wrong. I'm not just any pervert. I am a super pervert. Did you girls hear that? Yeah, it's that pervert again. Let's get him, yeah. The man paled as he realized shouting that out in the hot spring may not be the best thing to do. As he looked around, the kid was gone. It was then the fence to the hot spring side smashed open. As he then noticed, some of the girls came out. Some of them were in Anvu clothing. Mercy, he said. Moments later, Naruto walked down the streets of Konoha, making his way to Ichiraka Ramen, as his trip to the hot springs was ruined by that white-haired pervert. As he made his way there, he was stopped. Hey kid! As Naruto turned to see the white-haired man coming up to him. What do you want? You ruined my research, the man said, scowling at him. You mean peeping, Naruto said. And what's your point? I expect an apology from you. Naruto looked at him for a few seconds, before he started to laugh. You're joking, right? Do you really expect me to apologize to you? That's what I expect, you damn kid. It's the least you can do for ruining my research. There's no way I'll be doing that anytime soon. It's your fault for peeping in the woman's side of the hot springs. I didn't tell you to do that, and the only way you can get me to apologize if you made me. Well, that's fine. We can do it this way if you want. Huh, you think you can? What the hell, Naruto said. As he looked down to see something pink wrapped around his waist, he was then pulled up in the air as the white man jumped after him. It was some time later, whatever grabbed Naruto dropped him in the middle of the forest with the white-haired man as Naruto stood up. You super pervert, what the hell? As Naruto then noticed a toad. Wait, you're Jiraiya of the Sannin, aren't you? Oh, so you have heard of me, kid, said Jiraiya, smile. Yes, that is me, the great Galen, the sage of Mount Miyaboku, Jiraiya-sama. I swear to God, you Sannins are a bunch of freaks. First I run into that pedophile Orochimaru in the forest of death, and now I find out that you're a super pervert. What's next is the last one, addicted to gambling and alcohol. Somewhere in Haini no Kune, a blonde woman sneezed as she was playing a game of cards and losing badly. So you ran into my whole teammate, huh? Said Jiraiya. He knew this already, but appearance had to be kept. Huh, I'm surprised you survived. I guess, but he was really powerful. At least he want me and Sasuke to survive, so he could give us some gross hiki. I got lucky since since the curse mark didn't take effect, said Naruto. Kid, I already know about the Kyuubi, Jiraiya stated. He was also thinking the same thing, that is why the curse seal didn't take effect. But that is not important. You now realize who I am. You're basking in the glory of how awesome I am. You should now be on your knees begging and apologizing to me, Jiraiya-sama. Yeah, right, said Naruto. How about you train me, so I can kick ass in the finals? Maybe, I'll acknowledge you then. So how does that sound, Erosenin? Said Naruto. What did you just call me? Jiraiya yelled at him. I am a Sannin and I demand respect. I won't train some kid who doesn't understand that, said Jiraiya. Besides, what makes you think I want to train a pipsqueak like you? Well, said Naruto with a smirk. I just thought in the future you would like to say you train a Hokage. Been there, done that, said Jiraiya. Oh, I forgot to train the 4th Hokage. Well, don't you want to brag that you trained 2 Hokages? Jiraiya still did not look convinced. Naruto sighed. Well, if that won't convince you, how about this? As there was a poof of smoke. When the smoke faded away, it was Naruto there, completely naked, except for the smoke covering her private parts. She winked at Jiraiya, whose nose was bleeding very badly. Will you train me now, Jiraiya-sama? She asked. Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, I'll train you in anything you like, you pretty little thing. You promise? She asked. Of course, he said. Poof! Naruto returned back to normal. I'll see you tomorrow, Erosenin. As Naruto disappeared in a swirl of leaves, Jiraiya blinked a few times. The kid is definitely interesting, he said. Time skip. The two were a little ways away from the hot spring that Jiraiya was peeping at yesterday, as it looked like the man wanted to go peep again. So, what am I going to learn today, Erosenin? Damn it, brat. What did I say about respect, said Jiraiya. Fine. Oh great Ero-sama. What are you going to teach me, Naruto asked. Jiraiya eyebrow twitched a bit. I swear, if he wasn't Minato's kid. He bit his thumb as he went through hand sign. Watch closely. Summoning Jutsu. When the smoke cleared, there was a large toad there, about 3 sizes of Naruto. It opened its mouth and stuck out its tongue, as a scroll was set down on the ground. You're going to let me sign the toad contract, Naruto said, blinking in surprise. He did not actually think that the perverted old man was going to teach him something like summoning. He had read about them. Sarutobi, he had the monkey summoning contract. Kakashi, the Hatakes, were known for their dog summoning contract. And while the toad was not a clan-owned contract, it was easily the most prized summon, along with the slug contract which was held by Senju's Nadi. With that, and Orochimaru's snake contract, that is what helped them earn the title of Legendary Sanins. Of course, Jiraiya said a smile. I accepted you as my apprentice, didn't I? That means you get the special privilege of being one of the few with a summoning toad contract. Now, just sign your name in blood and give your fingerprints. As Naruto opened up the scroll and bit his finger as he wrote his name, as he placed his fingerprints on it, he then noticed one above his. Namikaze Minato. Yeah, said Jiraiya, that's a Hokage signature. That just shows you how awesome this contract is and how privileged you are to get to sign this, brat. Privilege? The only privilege I see is because it's signed by the Hokage. However, if an old pervert like you is a holder, perhaps it would be best if I find a better contract. As Naruto grinned as Jiraiya's eyebrow twitched. So what now? Well, now you have to sacrifice some blood every time you use this and use these hand signs. Jiraiya showed Naruto the hand signs. Now, let's see what you can do. Naruto bit his finger as he went through hand signs, summoning Jutsu, as he was a poof. When it cleared, there was a small orange toad with black spot wearing a blue vest. Yo, I'm Gamikichi. Who are you? Yo, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you, Naruto said. Gamikichi grinned. Nice to meet you. You have any candy? Ah, sure, Naruto said, as he reached into his pouch and pulled out a box of pocky. Here you go. It's not quite candy, but it's pretty damn good. Somewhere in Hain no Kuni, Itachi stopped walking. Hey Itachi, is something wrong? His partner asked. No, said Itachi. Let's continue moving. As he was thinking to himself, I should really get some pocky. Meanwhile, hey cool, said Gamikichi as he took one of the chocolate bread covered stick. He said as he jumped on top of Naruto's head. These are pretty good. You know something? You're alright. Hey, mind if I stick around? Sure, said Naruto. So, how was that Erosenin, Naruto asked? Not bad, said Jiraiya, not showing that he was impressed, because when he first tried it, he could only summon tadpoles. How much chakra did you use? Well, for about 8 shadow clones. That's not bad. That means your control must be pretty decent. Normally, something that told about Gamikichi's side would be 4 shadow clones chakra worth if you had perfect chakra control. So why don't you use more chakra this time? As Naruto went through hand signs after biting his finger, Jiraiya started to sweat when he felt the amount of chakra Naruto was pumping. Summoning Jutsu. This time there was a large poof of smoke that covered the entire clearing. Jiraiya, you lousy pervert, why did you summon me? Jiraiya paled. Damn it kid. Out of all the toads you could have summoned, why did you have to summon him? As the toad was pretty still pissed off for when Jiraiya summoned him to get, well, jump away from the ladies, and the toad was pretty pissed about that. So Jiraiya went to hide, but Jiraiya was still rather impressed for Naruto to summon him. He's gonna grow up to be something great. When the smoke finally cleared away, Gamabunta stood there in all of his glory. Jiraiya, where the hell are you? Answer me! Naruto flipped down from Toad's head and landed. Huh? Who are you, kid? I'm the one who summoned you, of course, said Naruto. The Toad blinked for a few moments before he burst out laughing. You expect me to believe some snot-nosed little kid like you summoned me? Get real. Now where's that damn pervert? This time Naruto scowled. I was the one that summoned you, not Erosenin, he said. I did. It's true, Pops. I watched this kid summon you. Gamikichi? Said Gamabunta, what are you doing here? Oh, the kid summoned me. He was pretty cool, so I decided to stick around. And this kid, he did summon you. I was right here watching him. I see, said Gamabunta, as he took a closer look at Naruto. As Naruto stared back, giving him that same look that another blonde-haired kid did all those years ago. Well, my son is not a liar, so I'll believe you. However, don't think that just because you summoned me, you get to be one of my underlings. We still have to drink together to celebrate you becoming my summoner. That might take a while, said Naruto, and I don't have any alcohol on me, and besides, aren't I a little too young? You're a ninja, aren't you? Old enough to kill, old enough to drink. Isn't that the say? Tell you what, we will hold off on that drink till later. Tell that old pervert that I approve. Got it, said Naruto, as Gamabunta poofed away. Nice job, kid, said Jiraiya coming out. I really didn't expect him to accept you that easily. And, to my surprise, you actually summoned Gamabunta out of everyone else. So, still think that teaching me would be a waste of your time to ask? Don't get cocky, kid. You're still not strong enough to lay a finger on me, even when I have one arm tied behind my back. You wanna bet nerd to axe? Well then, if you think you can take me on, then come and try, said Jiraiya. Meanwhile, like many others, they were also training, as blurs could be seen in the forest nearby. Guy and Lee were going at it with tremendous speed. Booms could be seen from their backlash of their fists, as they completely destroy another landscape. Meanwhile, Neji was huffing, as there was a dummy in front of him. He was trying to get a technique down. He knew that he would need a trump card in the finals. That Uzumaki boy had been proven stronger than he had anticipated for him when he defeated Gaara. Though he doubted that he would need this, he was still the dead last of the class. But there were still other opponents, like the Uchiha. But it doesn't matter, all of them would fall. Fate has already decided that he will win this. Meanwhile, Sasuke was working on his speed, seeing that his eyes could see what was coming, but he could not keep up so well. So Sasuke was being pushed by Kakashi to increase his speed. Time skip, a week later, Naruto was panicking on the ground as Jiraiya stood over him. It has been a week since they met. Since he already got the summon down, Jiraiya was helping him with taijutsu, which basically consists of him beating the crap out of Naruto every time they spar. When the man had said that you beat Naruto one-handed, he was not kidding. Naruto knew that the difference between himself and Asani was large, seeing his defeat at the hands of Orochimaru in the Forest of Death. That show. Every day that Naruto summoned his clones and set them out to trade and do what they have to do, he would meet up with Jiraiya and they would spar, and he would lose badly. And Jiraiya was also holding back a lot. Not bad, kid, you managed to make me move from the circle, Jiraiya said with a smirk, as he was out of the circle that he had set up. However, you're still 100 years too soon to beat me. Shut up, Naruto says. He was on the ground. Just you wait, Ursanin. I'm gonna kick your ass. Well, if some snot-nosed brat like you ever defeat me, it just means that I had lost my game and I deserve to get my ass kicked, Jiraiya said. He would not admit it for fear of Naruto's head getting too large, but he was impressed with the kid. He heard of Naruto fight with Gaara, who was an unstable Jinchuriki, but hearing how strong the boy was and actually seeing it were two different things. As Naruto's speed was Jonin level, well, low Jonin, all of the Genins and even Chunins, they could not keep up with Naruto's speed, and a rookie Jonin like Kurenai, even she would have trouble keeping up with Naruto's speed. His strength was impressive, as he could leave massive creatures with a punch, and it was not chakra enhanced, it was all muscle power. But he still has a way to go before he can take on someone like Kakashi, or him. But he was confident that soon, this kid would grow up and become something dangerous. Alright, break time is over, said Jiraiya. Get back up. As Naruto picked himself up, and not backing down, he said. Time skip, stupid Urasanin, said Naruto, as he rubbed his arms. You know, you've been moaning and bitching since you started to spar with him, said the Kyuubi. You're starting to sound like the Hyuga boy. Maybe you should start talking about how it's your fate to get your ass kicked all over the place. That's because I always end up like a giant bruise every time I fight him. And I do not sound anything like that asshole. Do not compare me to him, Naruto said. Stop complaining, you'll be as good as new tomorrow. You know, you're really lucky. Anyone else would have been in terrible shape tomorrow, and they couldn't even move because they were so exhausted. But you will be ready. I guess you're right, Naruto said. Of course I'm right, said the Kyuubi. As Naruto was walking, he heard a loud voice from one of the stalls. And then, that bastard, he said no. As Naruto turned towards the dango stand, this was the only other place besides Ichiraku Ramen where he could eat, since Anko had threatened the man with castration if he didn't allow Naruto to eat. As Anko was currently at the bar drinking a bottle of sake straight from the bottle, next to her was the Jonin sensei from Team 8, Kurenai. "Can you believe that bastard?" Anko said to Kurenai. Her voice sounded a bit drunk. "I tried and practically threw myself on him, and he... It's alright, Anko-chan. He doesn't deserve you. Besides, there are plenty of fish in the sea." "Anko-chan," Kurenai-sensei said Naruto as he walked up to them. As the two turned their attention towards him, as Anko's face lit up like a Christmas tree. "Kid," she said, as she turned to hug him, but the distance was too far, she almost fell on her face. But Kurenai caught her. "Just the person I want to see." As Naruto turned towards Kurenai, "How much has she drank?" Kurenai looked at the boy curiously for a moment, before pointing over at the trash can. That was literally overflowed with safe bottles. "I see," Naruto said, as he always saw her drink plenty of times. However, he had never seen her so drunk before. What happened to her? I had never seen her so drunk before. Kurenai raised an eyebrow at him. She knew that he had been spent a lot of time with Anko. As Anko talked about him a lot, telling how fast that he was learning and how fun it was to mess with him. She was actually pleased that there was someone out there that genuinely cared for Anko. "It seems that she had another run-in with Kakashi," Kurenai said. "That bastard," Anko said. Apparently, Anko asked him out for a date again, and got rebuffed again. Naruto blinked a few times. "What? I didn't even know that she liked Kakashi-sensei." "Well, from what I know, they at least slept together once," said Kurenai, scowling a bit because she did not feel like Kakashi deserved to sleep with her friend. "I don't think she really likes him. At least, I hope." As he was just an open, smut-reading pervert, walking around that porn every day. Well, whatever the case, Naruto says, he looked at Anko, as she was half asleep. "She should head home. We don't want her passing out here." "Good luck with that," said Kurenai. "I've been trying to get her to move for half an hour. Nothing is working." Naruto walked over. "Anko, I think it's time that we get you home." "Home? Huh? Kid? What are you doing here?" she said. Naruto's sweat dropped. "What?" "Yeah, you definitely need to go home." As he grabbed one of her hand and placed over his shoulder. "I don't wanna," she said. But Naruto did not listen to her. "Kurenai-sensei, can you help me get her home? I have no idea where she lives, and she's too drunk to give me proper direction." "Sure thing, Naruto. Follow me," said Kurenai. As they got many stares as they dragged Anko around. When they finally got there, Kurenai pulled out spare keys as she opened the door, and gestured for Naruto to enter. "While I would really like to stay and help you with her, I was on my way to an important meeting before I saw her, and I'm really running late," said Kurenai. "Oh? Are you and Asuma-sensei going on a date?" Naruto asked. Kurenai turned bright red, causing Naruto to laugh. What makes you say that?" she asked, as she was not used to being called out on something like that. "Well, I play shogi with Shikamaru and Asuma often to know that you have Asuma-sensei completely whipped." As Naruto laughed again when he saw Kurenai's shocked and embarrassed expression, the sign that he has done enough teasing, he thanked her, and told her that he would take care of the rest. Closing the door, Naruto looked at Anko, as she was still conscious but she was barely, mumbling about dongos, snakes, him, and also perverts. As Naruto picked her up bridal style, as he walked towards the bedroom, as he went inside and placed her right in the bed. As Naruto was about to walk away when Anko grabbed him and pulled him right in the bed, as she smashed his head right between her breasts and held him tight. Naruto turned bright red as he could feel her chest pressing against his face. Despite seeing Anko as a bigger sister type, he was still a hot-blooded male, as it was too much as Anko started to move around, rubbing herself on him, as Naruto passed out from blood loss. As the Kyuubi chuckled in her seal. "I can't wait to see what happened when he wakes up tomorrow," she said. Waking up tomorrow was very embarrassing. Yes, it was, seeing that he had passed out immediately after he woke up. To the position that they were in, Anko then woke him up as she started teasing him over and over about him wanting to sleep with older women, as he called her out for being a pedophile, going after younger children, such as him. He had to run for his life as she started to throw things at him. After that, most of the last week had been spent with Jiraiya, beating the crap out of him in training. Naruto also picked Jiraiya's brain about Gai's style of fighting, and also information on Hyuga clan type of taijutsu. Jiraiya even have information on Yujito, who Naruto feel like would be his biggest challenge. They spent several lunch breaks trying to create plans and strategy on how Naruto would defeat his opponents. The only other thing he did that week was going on the second date with Yujito, as she knew the life of a Jinchuriki, as she asked him if there's anywhere where he's welcome. She was saddened by that fact when she heard that there was only one place. Well, the Ichiraku Ramen where people mostly welcome him there. So they went there, and they had a wonderful time together, enjoying and exploring Konoha. Time skip the day after Chunin exam finals. Sarutobi watched with an impassive expression as the Raikage in his carriage entered the village. Kumo and Konoha has never been allies since the first Great Shinobi War. The village hidden in the clouds had been one of their worst enemies in the second and third war, only second in the stone in the second war. And also they tried to use the peace talks after the third to try to steal the Hyuga Byakugan. But this fourth Raikage was new, only been in the position for a few years after his father, the third Raikage, died, and this man, known as A, did not seem to care about the Byakugan. In fact, he sent a letter of apology, though due to the body being destroyed, he wasn't able to send the remains of Hisashi Hyuga. The second reason was, Sarutobi was hoping that having an extra Kage will deterrent Orochimaru's plan of invasion. Given the information provided by Jiraiya, Orochimaru marking Sasuke and Naruto respectfully, as well as his own knowledge on his student, he knew that Orochimaru would not show himself unless he was planning to take action against his former home. He then heard a beep on the intercom as he pressed it. What is it? The Raikage of Kumo is here to see you, sir. Very well, send him in. As the door opened up as the Raikage A walked in, Hokage Dano he greeted. Raikage Dano, would you like to take a seat, said Sarutobi. I'm fine, thank you. I understand, said Sarutobi. Though, you may want to get a little more comfortable. I did not send a message because fear of it being intercepted. Something has come to my attention that I feel you need to know before the Chunin exams begin. The Raikage raised an eyebrow, interesting, as he was curious to what Sarutobi was going to tell him. Time skip, daimyos, everyone had come to watch the finals, as the stadium was packed. From his place in the arena, Naruto watched as people cheer as they were betting who was going to win. Many were here to cheer on the last Uchiha. Why did people think that Sasuke was, good? Just because he was the last of his clan? He had a straw hat on his head as he pulled it down. I wonder where the tea is though. It's not like him to miss something like this. Who knows, Naruto-kun, said the Kyuubi as she looked through Naruto's eyes seeing the crowd. She was thankful. Unlike the previous seals, this seal allowed her to see what was going on. Up in the Kage's booth, Sarutobi frowned and noticed Sasuke was missing. I swear if Kakashi make Sasuke late for an event such as this. Sir, there is still no sign of Uchiha Sasuke, one of his Jonin bodyguards said. We have a few bodyguards search for him but there's no luck. Sir, do you think it's possible that Orochimaru already got to him? Sarutobi scowled at that, but before he could say anything he caught sight of his two guests. Ah, Kazekage Dano, Raikage Dano. It's good to see you both, he said with a friendly smile. Yo, the Raikage greeted, taking his seat on Sarutobi's left. Good to see you, Hokage Dano, said the Kazekage as he took the seat on the Hokage's right. His voice was rather soft. I hope the long journey wasn't too much trouble for either of you. It was a little boring, but there was no trouble, said the Raikage. I had no trouble getting here, said the Kazekage. Though, it's a good thing these exams are being held here this year. You're starting to get up there in your ears, Hokage Dano. I fear the trip may have been too much for you. Perhaps it's time that you decide who will take your place as Hokage. Please, don't treat me like an old man. I still have plenty of years left in me. I feel I'll be doing this for some time. Sarutobi didn't stand up as he went towards the rail. Thank you for coming, he said. I would like to welcome you all to Konoha Chunin selection exam. We will now begin the main tournament between the 10 participants who made it through the preliminaries. The crowd started to cheer. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Hokage Dano, but I only count 8, said the Kazekage. Yes, that is all I can count as well, said the Raikage. Sarutobi went back to his seat. Meanwhile, alright guys, take a look. This is a matchup for the main matches, said Genma. As you can see, there will be 5 matches in the first round, as he held up a piece of paper. Now while the arena is different, the same rules on the preliminary apply here. This means there are none. Matches will be fought until someone die, knocked unconscious, or admit defeat. However, if at any time I deem a fight is over, I will step in and end the match. Understood? Just one question, Naruto said. What happened to the sickly looking guy? I thought he was our proctor. As Naruto, Neji, Shikamaru, and Yujito noticed the man wince. His illness came at a bad time and was forced to sub, said Genma. Any other question? Everyone shook their heads as Genma decided to get the matches started. The first match of the Chunin exams. Uzumaki Naruto versus Hyuga Neji. All of the others, please go to the contestant booth. As Naruto watches the others left, leaving him with Neji. Man, I can't believe of all people Naruto is in the finals, said Ino, as she sat next to Sakura. Especially since he had to go through that Gara guy. That kid was a monster. I know what you mean, he has changed so much since we were in the academy. Sometimes I barely even recognize him anymore. He really has changed so much. She then looked around. I wonder, where's Kakashi Sensei? And Sasuke-kun, she said. Meanwhile, man, I can't believe how stupid these people are. To place your bets on the Hyuga kid, said Anko in a rather loud voice. So sure he's gonna win, are you? Asked Kurenai. Of course I am. Can you honestly picture the kid losing? Had you asked me that 1 month ago, I would have said yes, said Kurenai. However, after seeing him take on that guard kid, let's just say I know who to place my bets on. Which is why I put all my bets on the kid, said Asuma as he sit down next to Kurenai. No way he's gonna lose. He's not only strong but he's damn intelligent too, even if he doesn't act like it. Oh, said Kurenai. Yes, that kid down there is the only person besides Shikaku who can defeat Shikamaru and Shogi. Meanwhile, watch closely, Hanabi. Among the Hyuga, there is no better prodigy than Neji, said Hayashi. Yes, Dad, she said. Yosh! Show us your flame of youth, Lee said. He was conflicted who to cheer for. They were two of his rivals, so he cheered for the both of them. Lee, can you calm down a bit, said Tenten. But if I were to do that, my youth will diminish, Tenten-san. I can't. I can never bring down my youth, he said. Tenten sighed. As she turned back to the arena floor, she knew who she wanted to cheer for. Because it felt like betraying her teammate, though she only said in her mind, good luck, Naruto-kun. This looks like it's gonna be an interesting match, isn't it, Kitten? Asked Nibi. It does, but I doubt that you'll be able to defeat Naruto-kun, said Yuchito. So sure of your man, are you? Of course you will win, said Yuchito. He's stronger than he lets on. We will now start the first match. Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. Begin! Neji activated his Byakugan and slipped into the Jayugan stance. Naruto took off his hat as he threw it to the wall, as a clone poofed into existence and catch it. Not many knew about the young Uzumaki, but a lot heard about Neji, and they wanted to see how strong he really was. Looks like the party's about to start, said Naruto. Hankayubi-chan, he said. She then summoned a bowl of popcorn. Good luck, Naruto, she said. Up to this day, Naruto did not know how she did that. Thanks, he said, as he turned towards Neji. You should give up, Neji suddenly said. You're not winning here today, Fate, as I already decided that you have lost. Naruto blinked twice. Fate? Yes, the moment you were made my opponent, your fate was set. People are only as talented as fate allows them to be. A person's abilities are made and predetermined the moment they're born in this world. You know, with the way you talk about fate, I wonder, is fate making you his little bitch? Do not mock me, dead-ass, said Neji. As he calmed himself, it doesn't matter what you say, fate has already declared me the winner. Why don't you go ahead and be a priest? Because only priests speak about all this fate shit so much. Or perhaps I should say, priestess. I mean that long hair and that kimono. You really look like a gender bender, you know that. Enraged at the insult, Neji dashed forward. But before he could get Naruto, Naruto brought his hand up in a hand sign. As 6 clones poofed into existence, surrounding Neji. Neji had to jump back as the clones came at him ferociously, as he had to duck and dodge. Wait, there should be one more. As he missed the clone right behind him, and slammed his hand right in the back of his head, knocking him to the ground. At the last second, he lashed out a kick before landing with a thud, dispelling the clone. It was then the rest of the clones poofed away, as several shurikens came towards Neji, who scoffed as he saw them coming as he flipped back to his feet, as he blocked all of them with ease and dodged the last one that landed a few feet behind him. As Naruto rushed towards Neji, the real one, he thrust a fist towards Neji. Neji blocked it, but Naruto grabbed his hand and pulled Neji towards him as he smashed his fist into Neji's face. The crowd gaped as Neji was sent sailing back, holding his now busted lip. You may think that you won some kind of victory with this hit, but I assure you it's only luck, said Neji as he wiped away the blood. Fate has already declared me the winner. Shut the hell up, said Naruto. I'm tired of hearing your fate crap. As Neji dashed forward in range as he started to strike at Naruto, as Naruto ducked and dodged using the snake's fist style that he learned from Anko. As Naruto's body was stretching in some difficult ways, well, all that stretching that he did, his body was able to move around quite freely. Neji was unable to hit him. As Neji nearly growled in frustration and anger, he wasn't able to hit the blonde not even once. He increased the speed of his strikes, hoping that one of his blows would wipe that smirk off his face. As Naruto saw Neji coming to palm strike, Naruto bent his body, as he had to place his hand on the ground for support behind him, as he knocked Neji's hand. He then flipped, twisting his body in mid-air with the momentum, and smashing the side of his foot in Neji's head. Neji let out a gasp of pain as he stumbled back, rubbing his head trying to get the pain out of it. As Naruto got up and fired off several kunais that came out of his gauntlets and went through hand sign. The several kunai multiplied into several dozen kunais as they flew towards Neji. What the hell, one-handed seals? Is he for real, Tamariel? No, that's impressive, said Yujito. While it is impressive, I wonder why he hasn't used any other abilities yet, said Nibe, or the Kyuubi. Maybe he's trying to prove a point, or maybe he doesn't need to. I doubt this Hyuga is a threat to Naruto-kun. Meanwhile, realizing that there was too much of block or dodge, Neji started to spin. Rotation! Dad, said Hanabi. Yes, said Hayashi. That's it, the rotation, the technique of the main branch family. For Neji to have been able to learn something like this on his own, such talent is wasted in the branch family, thought Hayashi. Neji, stop. You should have known such simple tricks won't work on me. Stop acting superior. You haven't even touched me yet, said Naruto, and you just showed me one of your moves. So, don't. Neji scowled as he dashed back in, increasing his speed even more, almost as fast as Lee. As Naruto blocked a strike that came in from the left. As Naruto backpedaled as he tried to gain some distance, but Neji charged after him. As Naruto had to duck and weave through the attacks, Neji was holding back before, because he didn't expect Naruto to be so strong. But now, he was coming in for the attack to strike. As Naruto raised his hand and Neji raised his, Naruto smashed a fist in Neji's shoulder, and Neji smashed a strike palm right in his shoulder. But it was Neji that was sent flying back. As Naruto leaned back a bit, but he pulled himself back up. Neji cursed as the blonde hit strong, even as strong as Lee. Neji had to snap his head up to see Naruto coming down with a fist towards his face. Neji waited for the right time as he swatted away Naruto's attack with a Jayugan strike towards his palm, and then came in for a strike at Naruto's chest. But Naruto twisted his body and flipped around Neji and jumped away. As Naruto then formed two yokai whips and started to whip at Neji. Neji did his best to dodge, and when he was incapable of that, tried to block. However, that was the worst thing to do. Even after setting a layer of chakra over his hands to protect him from the whip, he still got injured badly. Whatever that whip was made out of, it was certainly not chakra. Or it was made out of a very strong chakra that he had yet to encounter, as he saw the burn marks appear on his hands. You know, said Naruto looking at Neji, every time I was trained with Tenten and the Bushy Browns, I always wonder, why do you always go on those rants of yours about fate? Naruto asks. That is none of your business, said Neji. Hell it isn't, said Naruto. All I've ever heard from you is fate this and fate that. You keep on bitching like you're from some soap opera or something. I saw how you reacted in Hinata's fight when she used the rotation. I saw how you reacted when I mentioned her the first time we met. And despite the proctor had called the match, you almost killed that Kumoku no Ichi. Such unbridled hatred for others, those who have not done any wrong to you. And even family. I don't know much about family, seeing that I never have one. But I do know that you're not supposed to hate family for no goddamn reason. No reason, said Neji. He deactivated his Byakugan. He was already running low on chakra, and this small reveal make him get back some and relax. You want to know, said Neji. Very well, I'll tell you why fate is the only thing that exists. Perhaps you will understand why, against me, it's pointless to win. Within the Hyuga main house, there's a special ninjutsu that has been passed down through generations. This jutsu is a cursed seal jutsu. Cursed seal? You mean Fuin jutsu, said Naruto. Yes, said Neji. It represents an inescapable fate, that of a caged bird, said Neji. As he reached up and untied his headband, showing a seal on his forehead. On the day when I turned 4 years old, I had this seal carved in my forehead, using a cursed seal jutsu. That same day a grand ceremony was taking place. One of shinobi leaders from Kumo, who had been warring with Konoha for many years, decided to sign a peace treaty. However, from this signing, which everyone had gone to, one was missing. A clan, the Hyuga clan. Because that was an important day. It was when Hinata-sama became 3. My father, Hisashi, and Hinata's father, Hayashi, they were twins. However, because Hayashi was born first, he became a member of the main family, while my father became a branch member. And I was too fated to become a bird, trapped in a seal. I don't understand, why would they do something like that? Neji simply smirked. but it had no humor in it. This seal is to show their control over us. With nothing but a simple hand sign, they can kill us with ease. It would only disappear after my death, destroying the Byakugan when it leaves. There are many people that has gone after the Byakugan, so to ensure that it never fall in the hands of anyone else. This seal was set up that way as well, to destroy the Byakugan. But it was on that night, after the treaty was signed, Hinata was kidnapped, but he was discovered by her father, who wastes no time and killed the intruder. The leader of the Kumo Shinobi who had just signed the alliance treaty. Kumo then argued with Konoha for breaking the alliance, and it almost came to war. They wanted one thing, the head of Hayashi Hyuga. Konoha agreed and the war being avoided. But it was not Hayashi who was given to them that day. In replacement, just because he was a twin, it was my father, Neji said. Everyone in the audience went silent as they tried to process this information. Hayashi had bowed his head in shame. Neji did not know the true story of what happened, but he felt ashamed to see his nephew suffering. The Raikage looked ashamed as well. He had not agreed with the plan, and he was also against it, claiming that they did not need the Byakugan. But he was the only one who disagreed, and his father was in charge back then, so he had no say, really. Neji retied his headband as he looked at Naruto. Now do you see? Because of this seal, I'll never be free. You have no idea what it's like to have a curse like this, a burden you can never get rid of. Naruto lowered his head and his hand went to his stomach. He then started to laugh. As he started to laugh, "What's so funny?" Neji asked. "You," said Naruto. "You think I don't understand where you're coming from?" Naruto said, as he stopped laughing. "I do know what it's like to have a burden placed on you from day one. To have the odds stacked against you because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But so what? Who cares?" "What?" said Neji. As Neji was pissed by the way Naruto dismissed his burden. "You stand here bitching and moaning about saying that your fate is inescapable, that nothing you do or say would ever allow you to defy your fate. Because nothing we can do can change fate," Neji shouted back. "That's where you're wrong. You said that your fate to beat me, right? That is where I'm going to show you today. That fate can be always changed because I'm going to beat you into the ground." Neji turned his Byakugan back on. "You can't prove anything," he said. 8 tetragram. 64 palms. He rushed towards Naruto as he caught Naruto in his grasp. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 60. But before he could finish that sentence, Naruto exploded in a shower of electricity, shocking the hell out of Neji as he was sent sailing back. The Raikage blinked. "A lightning clone? How the hell could he know that? That's a technique of Kumo," he said. "I do not believe that was a lightning clone," said Sartobe. "Let us watch and see what's next." Meanwhile, what the hell just happened next Tenten? What kind of jutsu did Naruto just use? Naruto-kun? Does she know him as well? Yuchito said, as she heard Tenten. Well, she shouldn't be surprised, considering that most of the younger generations, well, none of them did not know about the burden that they carry, so they wouldn't be against them. "Kitten, are you gonna let that girl take your man?" "First off, he's not my man. I admit I like him. He's sweet, he's fun, he's cute. But we come from different villages. A real relationship would be impossible for the two of us. Then what about this time? All this time that you spent with him, Kitten?" "Well, I don't really care about that. I don't really care if a relationship is possible or not, so long as I can see him," she said. "Perhaps you can make the Raikage make you be an envoy to Konoha for him." "That does sound like a good idea, but we both know that only works if he wants an alliance, and it will take a lot for him to agree to that." "What's going on? Where's Naruto? And what's up with that clone?" said Ino, not sure what was going on. "I don't know," said Sakura, confused as well. Several feet away, the shuriken that was on the ground that Naruto threw, poof, as Naruto was now standing there, as he walked towards Neji. "How?" Neji said, shocked as hell. But guys, be in episode right here. Remember to stay tuned for what if Naruto got his memory sealed away? What if Naruto's given a second chance? And also, what if Naruto's raised by the Hyuga clan? But for now, I'm out. Peace.